When you flip through channels or browse streaming platforms, you think you're choosing from a diverse marketplace of entertainment options. But what if I told you that behind many of these seemingly different choices lurks a single corporate giant? Meet Comcast, one of the most powerful but least visible media and telecommunications companies in the world. This is the story of how a small cable provider became a media empire that quietly pulls the strings of global entertainment. Comcast's story begins in 1963 when Ralph Roberts bought a small cable system in Tupelo, Mississippi for $500,000. Roberts saw opportunity in bringing television to rural areas that couldn't receive broadcast signals. What started as American Cable Systems would eventually become Comcast Corporation in 1969. Through aggressive acquisitions and strategic expansion, Comcast grew from serving 1,200 customers to becoming America's largest cable provider. By the 1980s, cable television was transforming American entertainment, and Comcast was positioning itself at the center of this revolution. But Ralph Roberts and his son Brian had much bigger ambitions than just providing cable television. In 2002, Comcast made its first major power play, acquiring AT&T Broadband for $72 billion. This single acquisition doubled Comcast's size and made it the undisputed king of American cable. When a hostile takeover bid for Disney failed in 2004, Comcast set its sights on an even bigger prize. In 2011, Comcast achieved what many thought impossible. They bought NBCUniversal from General Electric for $30 billion. Suddenly, Comcast wasn't just delivering content. They owned some of the most valuable entertainment properties in the world. Here's where things get interesting, and where most consumers have no idea how deep Comcast's influence really goes. Through NBCUniversal, Comcast owns NBC and its entire family of cable networks. They own Universal Pictures, one of Hollywood's Big Six studios, and Universal Studios theme parks. They launched Peacock to compete in the streaming wars, leveraging their vast content library. In 2018, Comcast outbid Disney and Fox to acquire Sky, Europe's largest broadcaster, for $39 billion. This gave Comcast control over 24 million customers across the UK, Ireland, Germany, Austria, and Italy. So when you think you're choosing between NBC News and MSNBC, or between Universal Movies and Bravo reality shows, you're actually choosing between different divisions of the same corporate empire. But Comcast's massive reach comes with a dark side that has made it one of the most disliked companies in America. For decades, Comcast has been notorious for poor customer service, with consumers reporting hours-long wait times and unhelpful representatives. Viral recordings of customer service calls have exposed aggressive retention tactics and representatives who refuse to cancel services. Stories of technicians sleeping on customers' couches or missing appointments entirely have become internet legends. The root of the problem is simple. In many areas, Comcast faces little to no competition, giving customers nowhere else to turn. This monopoly power has allowed Comcast to impose ever-increasing fees, hidden charges, and complex pricing structures that confuse consumers. One of Comcast's most controversial practices has been imposing data caps on internet service. Despite having virtually unlimited capacity, Comcast began charging customers extra fees for exceeding arbitrary monthly data limits. Critics argued this was designed to discourage cord-cutting and streaming services that compete with Comcast's traditional cable offerings. These overage fees generate hundreds of millions in additional revenue while providing no additional value to customers. Comcast's influence extends far beyond entertainment and telecommunications. They've built one of the most powerful lobbying operations in Washington. Comcast spends over $15 million annually on lobbying, making it one of the top corporate political spenders in America. The company has perfected the Washington revolving door, hiring former FCC commissioners and placing executives in key government positions. Comcast has been a leading opponent of net neutrality rules, spending millions to fight regulations that would prevent them from blocking or slowing internet traffic. Through PACs and individual contributions, Comcast spreads money across both political parties, ensuring influence regardless of who's in power. This investment in political influence has paid dividends, helping Comcast avoid meaningful regulation and block competitors. Comcast's growing power has raised serious antitrust concerns among regulators and consumer advocates. In many markets, Comcast controls over 60% of the broadband internet market and faces minimal competition. When Comcast tried to merge with Time Warner Cable in 2015, Even the business-friendly Obama administration blocked the deal as too anti-competitive. The real concern is vertical integration. Comcast controls both the internet infrastructure and the content, giving them unprecedented power to favor their own programming. This has led to numerous disputes, where Comcast has blocked or degraded access to competitors' content during contract negotiations. Recognizing the threat from streaming services, Comcast launched Peacock in 2020 to compete directly with Netflix and Disney+. Peacock leveraged Comcast's vast content library, offering everything from classic NBC sitcoms to Universal blockbusters. But despite having premium content, Peacock has struggled to gain significant market share against established competitors. The challenge for Comcast is that streaming services are cannibalizing their traditional cable TV business. Their strategy has been to offset declining cable revenue by increasing broadband prices and pushing customers toward their own streaming platform. Through acquisitions like Sky, Comcast has extended its influence far beyond American borders. Today, Comcast serves over 50 million customers across multiple continents, making it a truly global media powerhouse. The company leverages its content library globally, licensing NBCUniversal programming to international broadcasters and streaming services. This global expansion is part of a broader trend of media consolidation that's concentrating power in fewer corporate hands. When a single company controls this much of the global media landscape, their editorial and business decisions can influence what millions of people see and hear. Despite its massive power, Comcast faces significant challenges as consumer behavior continues to shift away from traditional cable television. The streaming wars have intensified competition, with tech giants like Apple and Amazon willing to lose billions to gain market share. Emerging technologies like 5G wireless could eventually challenge Comcast's broadband monopoly in many markets. Growing political pressure for antitrust action against large corporations could force Comcast to divest some of its holdings. Younger consumers who grew up with the internet show little loyalty to traditional media companies and are willing to switch services frequently. The next time you watch the news, stream a movie, or browse the internet, remember that there's a good chance Comcast is involved somewhere in that experience. From the cables that bring internet to your home, to the news you watch, to the movies you stream, Comcast's influence touches nearly every aspect of modern media consumption. This is the reality of corporate consolidation in the 21st century, a handful of companies wielding enormous influence over information and entertainment. What appears to be consumer choice is often just different flavors of the same corporate control. Comcast may be one of the least visible media giants, but their quiet influence shapes the media landscape in ways most consumers never realize.